Sherls here. Thank you for stopping by on my channel. Welcome back to my very messy craft table. I decided to reorganize my charms while we are talking. On my last vlog, I got a question. Sherls, are you Chinese? That made me realize that I never properly introduced myself. Hi, I am Sherls. That's the nickname I goes by online. I am a Chinese, born and raised in Indonesia. I am what you call overseas Chinese or Huaqiao in New Huaqiao. From my father's side, I am the second generation, and from my mother's side, I am the third or the fourth generation. I'm not so sure about that. We never really talk much about our family in China. I do believe we still have some family in China, but I do not really know where they are from or their name. As far as I was told, we are from Fujian, and my grandmother, my father, grandmother from both sides, they can speak Hokkien, but I cannot. Growing up, I only speak Indonesian and Javanese, a little bit English from school, and zero Chinese. How do I can speak Chinese now? Well, it's because I went to Taiwan for my undergraduate. Since I was young, I know that I do not want to take my undergraduate degree in Indonesia. Growing up, I heard a lot of stories of people buying degrees from university. I personally know someone who bought their degree. I'm not going to say who is that person. I'm not going to mention it. I don't want to label them with some bad names or yeah. So it is true. I wanted originally to take my undergraduate degree in United States, but my parents said nope, it's too expensive. My sister, so before about that, I am the third child from 4 siblings. I have an older sister, older brother, me, and a younger brother. My older sister is 2 years older than me, and my older brother 1 year older than me, and my younger brother, he is 4 years younger than me. So my older sister, she wanted to go to China to be a doctor, but my parents said nope, because doctors, you like spend a lot of money to be a doctor, but then you don't get a lot of patient, and you still have to spend a lot of money for the equipment, etc., etc. So yeah, they said no to her. And at the time, another family member, my mother's cousin, his children went to Taiwan for their undergraduate, and somehow his wife persuaded my mom to send my sister to Taiwan. She said the cost of the undergraduate degree in Taiwan is around the same level as if my parents sent us to Surabaya. Surabaya is the capital of East Java, and I am from Malang, a city around 2 hours away from Surabaya. So that's what she said. Also, she said from what her experience was, all these children that went to Taiwan for their degree, they came back more respectful to their parents, and they're more independent. So at the time, that aunt, she is doing a lot of work to help the kids in our hometown that wants to go to Taiwan. She helped with the application to go to Taiwan, and she helped with arranging which teachers to go for private lesson for Mandarin, English, and math. So yeah, she's kind of like the Taiwan University coordinator in our city. So through her, my sister went to Taiwan and she took biotech in Taiwan. So why do we have to learn Chinese, math, and English? Because to go to university in Taiwan is not like you apply to the university and then you can go in. Nope, it's not like that. You have to take the national test. For the Taiwanese students and all the rest of overseas Chinese from the world, they had to take, I believe it's 7 subjects. They gave the Indonesian overseas Chinese a more leeway by only giving us 3 subjects: English, math, and Chinese literature. The English is somehow easy, but some of the questions, they are written in Chinese, so we need to be able to read that and understand it. The math is not a big deal. The math in everywhere you are is the same. Again, the main challenge is the Chinese. And growing up, I did not speak Chinese. Growing up, Chinese is forbidden. It's not legal to have Chinese characters in newspaper or in a storefront. At least that's what I was told. Before that, when my grandmother were young or my aunt were like twin, they were still Chinese school that speaks in Chinese newspaper, and Chinese is much more respected. But after the really bad massacre of the generals in 1960, Chinese was banned and we were pretty much facing a lot of racism. Not all of the Indonesian, they were racist. Few, I would say few. I remember when I walk on the street, sometimes those native Indonesian will mock us, saying something like Cino, Cincong, something like that, some racist words. Yep, and yeah, the government, they also very, very not friendly to Chinese. It's better now, but when I grew up, I remember that if we go to get our ID, for example, the person that help us will see, if you are Indonesian, maybe they will charge you, let's say, $10, but then, oh, you are Chinese, it means that you have a lot of money, then they will charge you like $50. So there's no fixed price. Even though, well, there is a fixed price, they know like what they're supposed to charge, but again, you see a Chinese, means like you are rich, and then they will charge you more. And the rest of the $40, it will go to their pocket. That's just how bad Indonesia was when I was still in the Indonesia. Recently, my family said it's so much better. The price is more transparent. It's so much easier to get whatever from the government. And there is no corruption in the lower level. That's what they said. I'm not there, so I do not experience it myself. And I do hope that it is true. Otherwise, it'll be really, really sad if it is still very corrupt. Talking about corruption, I remember that if you got stopped in the traffic light, for example, you can just bribe the police, like, oh yeah, I understand, like doing handshake, but then you put like money in your hand and handshake, and you can go. And I remember when my parents wants to, like, when I went to Taiwan the first time, actually parents were not allowed, or the ones without ticket were not allowed to go inside the airport. But then my father just went in by, of course, doing the handshake with the money. So it's just like how it was in Indonesia. When I left Indonesia after I finished my high school. But it is, again, it's much better. Not like 100% corruption free, but so much better from what I was told. I haven't really to Indonesia since 2019. So it's been like 5 years now. The last time I went back to Indonesia, it was for my grandmother from maternal side's 100 days ceremony. So she passed away in 2019, unfortunately, and she wasn't able to meet my kids in person. That's really sad, I know. But that's life. I learned Chinese around 2 years before I left Indonesia. So in the beginning, it was only 2 lessons a week, and then after I'm closer to the time that I need to leave Indonesia to go to Taiwan, the Chinese lesson got ramp up to every day. Even with that, I remember the first 6 months in Taiwan, I was kind of like spacing out in the class and thinking, teacher, what kind of alien language you are talking? Yep, I have zero understanding of what the teacher talked about in front of the class. Thankfully, my textbooks, they are in English, and most of my teacher, they can speak English. Our tests, they are more likely to be in English as well. And of course, I will write my answer in English. Not all of them. For those teachers that still have their test in Chinese, I could ask the teacher for help to try to explain it to me, or the teacher assistant will help me. And yeah, I still answer in English, of course. And also may be helpful too that the school I went to was the number 3 in Taiwan, National Chiao-Tung University, or Guoli Chiao-Tung Daixue. So that's really helpful because most of my friends, my classmates, my roommates, they were able to speak English to some degree. I was told if you go to some school that's lower in the rank, and some of my friends from my hometown, they went to the school, they told me that it is different. The textbooks more likely in Chinese, and not everyone in their class can speak English. So I was very lucky. And the other positive thing about going to Taiwan compared to Surabaya is part-time job. I'm able to take part-time job while I was in Taiwan, and that's super helpful because my parents pretty much like hands off. After the first semester, they never release any money. I just like work part-time during summer and winter break, save money, and pay for my university. Yep, I've been pretty independent since high school. And after that, I went to US to take my master's degree. I wasn't really originally thinking of taking my master's degree, but then I was like tired of Taiwan, and I decided to continue my degree. And I'm glad I did, because I met my husband in the US. We went to the same program, Entertainment Arts and Engineer, in University of Utah, Salt Lake City. And actually, we were married in the courthouse a day before my graduation. My husband, he is like a semester ahead of me, so he graduated before me, but we have the same graduation party. And after that, we flew back to Indonesia, and that's how my parents and my family met him. Yep, they never met him until I married him. So it was fun. It was fun. My grandmother, my late grandmother, she originally opposed my relationship with my husband. She wants me to marry someone nearby so I can be close to her. But since I was young, I'm quite rebellious in term of that. Not like being like naughty or something like that, but I just don't really go with what the flow is, like what they want me to. Like my for example, my grandmother wants me to marry somewhere close by, and the farthest one will be in Jakarta, like another side of the island. But I ended up in the US. And I remember my parents often said that I am very ambitious. They kept saying, why are you going to take master degree? After marriage, you will just be like being a housewife. But I said, like, I don't want it. So, and they don't really pay for my master degree, actually. It's all my money, so why do they care? Unfortunately, right now, they are, what they said, becoming the reality. I'm just a housewife now. I quit my job to raise my kids. I quit my job like 2 weeks before I gave birth to Miss Cutie, and since then I haven't go back to workforce. I still hope one day to go back to workforce, and I'm not sure if I can, because the degree that I took and my resume is, there's like a big gap there, and the field that I am in, the people doesn't really like seeing a big gap. So I took I was a software engineer before I quit my job, and yeah, couple years not doing programming, I'm very rusty now. It will take a while for me to get back to where I was, but it's not impossible. It just needs a lot of practice, I believe. Yeah, right now, after I married my husband, we live in the area that's called Silicon Valley in the US. And to be precise, it is in North San Jose in Alviso, a city that was absorbed by San Jose. And this small city, or you would say a town, this called this area the ghetto of Silicon Valley. Like a lot of people are low income here, and the school that my daughter goes to, it is a Title I school. They got a, basically it's a low income school for low income families, and it got more funding from the government. Even though this is a ghetto low income family, low income neighborhood, the houses here is still easily 1 million, because this is Silicon Valley. 1 million is cheap. It's very cheap compared to other places. Like, for example, across the bridge from me, like within a mile from here, the townhouses will easily be like 2 million. Yep, that's just how crazy the houses price here. Thankfully, my husband, he is able to support us with just one income. And I'm so grateful that he support my decision to quit my job to raise my children. Since I was young, I know that I want to raise my own kids. I was raised by my grandmother, my late grandmother, and I never really have a close relationship with my parents. Growing up, I remember my mother, she never really liked it when we say you to her. She said it's impolite. She got really angry whenever we accidentally say you. So for example, like, hey mom, can you like take that for me? She would be very upset. Like, she would say like, I'm not your friend, don't call me you. So yeah, I think from there I never really feel like this close relationship with my mother. So since then I've decided I want to raise my own kid. The idea right now is for me to go back to workforce after my kids reach certain age. Right now, all of my kids, they are going to school, and you would think that I will have more time, but no, Nope, not at all. The cleaning up, I never really caught up to it. Like I spent 2 hours cleaning one section, and it only took them 2 minutes to throw everything out. It's just never ending. And especially my daughter, my Miss Cutie, she has a lot of homework. The amount of her homework is crazy. For a first grader, it's super crazy. And next year I will also have Miss Sweetie going to the same school with, again, homework every day. It's just, I do not know. Maybe I will go back to workforce after they're all in middle school. I'm not so sure. And even then, if I want to go back to be a software engineer, which right now I still want to, I will have to do a lot of like preparation and study just to get back to where the level I used to be. Especially everyone likes to have technical interview, which I'm really bad of. Whenever I was in a technical interview, my brain suddenly just froze. If you ask me 1 plus 1, I believe I would not be able to answer. So that's just how bad I am at the technical interview. And this one, actually, I believe this is something that my sister-in-law made. I think she's a glass blower at some point, but no, she's not. But anyways, so that's me. I have 3 kids, and they are born in November, January, and December. And after Martin Luther King Day, they will be 7, 5, and 3 years old. A girl, and a boy. So that's about me. Anything else that I want to mention? How I already mentioned who I am. I'm from Indonesia, and now I'm in the US. How I met my husband, my kids. I think that's pretty much cover everything. Is there anything else that I missed? I don't think so. I believe that's all should cover about myself. Let me think a little bit if there's anything else that I want to share about myself. No, yeah. If you have like other question about myself, do please leave your question in a comment, and I will answer it in the next vlog. And I would really love to know more about you. So if you would like to introduce yourself in the comment, that would be really sweet. And yeah, I will see you in the next vlog. Happy crafting! Bye!